Good morning. I still didn't get the noise. Good morning. Okay, I think after Nandini speaks, and I know Nandini, I think for the last 5 years when we were setting up JGI Ventures, and I think it's always a tough act to follow once she speaks. But, you know, the way I have kind of thought about this session is to keep it interactive. So first, I would want all of you to be comfortable, sit down. You can't be standing for about an hour, hour and a half. So make yourself comfortable. And will everybody give me a big smile?
Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully it's a nice place to come, and this is my 3rd visit. And I'm really happy. So everybody a big smile and a big round of applause, please. You know, whenever I go and I see this semicircular seating, I'm reminded of IIMB. And we started a program at IIM to create entrepreneurs. As you know, it's India's premier institution as far as management education is concerned. And I must say, the show of hands that all of you guys did when Nandini asked how many of you want to be entrepreneurs, you guys, at least on the face of it, have performed better than I am. Okay, so give yourselves a round of applause. Okay. So, I was told to speak about lessons. So, just to give you perspective, okay, Nandini kind of spoke about it from a mentor perspective, you know, a mentor talking, discussing with a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm going to talk to you about an entrepreneur because I am an entrepreneur. Okay, so I may agree or disagree with some things you've heard. It's for your own good. So I would encourage you to ask as many questions as you want. From a time perspective, I've already requested them to keep about 10 minutes aside for Q&A. So I'm going to be speaking a little less and I want to hear more about you. Fair enough?
Yes.
Yes. The guy in the green shirt refuses to talk. Breakfast aita. All right. So, this is my journey, okay? I wasn't, the girl who link stock, right? Once you get it registered, I confirm that my company will do business with you. Okay? I think I like the confidence. And currently I have 4 positions open. And in the next 1 year, I'll have 15 positions open. So if you can service us, we'll be happy to tie up with you. But please have a current account because we want to transfer money. All right? Okay. So this was my journey. I think if I wanted to call my whole employee life, you see, I started very young. And most of them asked me to title my journey, and I would say the curse of a high performer. Okay, because I was in college and I remember the IIM bug bit me because of a competition that we'd gone there. And as usual, we were feeling very insecure and a little subservient to the IIM guys. IIM campus and all of that stuff. But I don't know what happened. I ended up winning the first prize there and that kind of gave me a confidence. So went on to become an alumni of IIM. And there was another thing. I think this is so true of entrepreneurs. I failed my CAT the first time I gave it. So that time I had made up my mind saying one day I'm going to come and teach these buggers. And it happened. So 4 years ago, I had my first class of IIM and I got an A+, and I've still framed it and kept it. So I think the life of an entrepreneur is somebody who's always restless, right? Who loves challenges. And confidence is a given. Otherwise, you can't do business. So I started off in a company called Emphasis, which was acquired by HP. At the age of 23, I was managing a workforce of 300 people. At the age of 27, I was evolving strategies for about 1,25,000 employees, right? So I kind of grew, and at that time my vision was to be a head of an HR department. I didn't know I wanted to be an entrepreneur and all of that. And when I came so close to it, I realized that this is not, because I think I agree with Nandini when she says things look glamorous from a distance, right? So for me it was like, I don't think I want to be any head of HR and all of that stuff. So entrepreneurship pretty much happened to me by chance, because I didn't know what else to do. Okay, I didn't have a great idea, but I had a pretty successful track record and people started giving me feedback. So some of the things that I looked for when I was an employee was I always looked at solutions and never gave up. The first thing that happens to me even now, when people read my introduction and when I walk into the room, they're still looking at the door. You know, they're still saying, oh, we thought some lady with some grey hair is going to come. And I'm like, you're talking to me. And the best example was when we negotiated with the trade union in Kerala. And you know how nasty that can get, right? So I walked into the room and all these union leaders were there. Of course, we were given police protection because they thought they were going to hit our car. And we were there to negotiate terms on behalf of the management. And they had this notion that somebody has come from Bangalore. So I remember walking into the room, Veshtis, all the men sitting there. And I went and I sat down. And I remember all the men still looking and they wouldn't start the meeting. And I was like, let's start the meeting. And they were like, let a senior person come. I'm like, you're going to negotiate with me. The result, we won. Okay? Why? Because I think I was a lady. And they thought it was below their dignity to negotiate with a lady. So being a lady also has its advantages. Even though it's tough sometimes, but I don't think being a lady and being a woman entrepreneur is, I think we have our advantages, right? How many of you want to start e-commerce kind of businesses? Anybody? You have to particularly watch out for women, because women decide 80% of sales. The poor husband, before he buys a shirt, the wife only decides which shirt he has to buy. Okay? Right? The watch, the car, everything is pretty much surrounds the woman. Right? So especially for e-commerce guys, if you're going to hire coding engineers, if you're going to hire strategists, ensure that there is some percentage of women representation there. It will kind of make the probability of your business succeed even more. Right? On the startup side, yes, 95% of startups fail within the first year. It's well documented, but that's more a Western percentage because there's a lot more documentation that happens there than in India. I think in India, predominantly, we're still a family-run business. You know, if the son is studying in a college and if the father happens to run a business, more often than not, he will graduate and join his father's business. So first generation entrepreneurs, if you look at it, I think we're doing very well. And surprisingly, places like Hubli, you guys are doing much, much better than the urban cities. Okay, so a big round of applause to you guys. You guys are doing much better than the urban cities. What I also did when I was an employee was that I invested in relationships. So I take time to talk to people. I take time to understand people because you never know who your customer is and you never know who your vendor is going to be tomorrow. So it's always important to be nice to people. Never be rude. Alright? I have had instances where some of my employees have gone on to become my clients. Okay? And I've also had some of my clients becoming my employees. Okay, so you never know. You have to wed yourself to the business, and that pretty much is your Bible truth. There's no hard and fast rule, but until and unless you're focused on your business, you're never going to make money. on the startup phase, that was pretty much my testing thing because it was more by chance. I said, let's see where this takes me. It was an extension of work because I had done well. People were willing to give me money. I remember my first order of consulting, and we all give advice. I think that's the best thing about India is that you get free advice. Now imagine getting paid 15 lakhs for advice as your first order. And that's how I started my company. I'm like, not bad. People still, it's a difficult sell because everybody gives advice, right? You want to sit down with a business and say, let me help you structure the business. Madam, profit increase ಮಾಡಿ, customer in ಮಾಡಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು, why should we give you so much of money? So there are different kind of mindsets. And especially if I had a person on the other side of the table who was the age of my father, it would get even more difficult. Because they would get patronizing. They're like, you're like my daughter. Right? So let me tell you how to run a business. Right? But you get all kinds of experiences. I don't think it's just one thing. But that's how I started. And year one, I remember, so one of the things that was important to me when I started my business was that at the end of the year, I should take home as much as my previous salary was. Yes? Because like that gentleman who wanted to help his friend who's a girl, I don't want to say girlfriend because then all of you will go, oh, right? So that was my initial thing. So I worked very hard to ensure that at the end of the year, there is no monetary loss. Because when a woman wants to start a business, and you must understand that I was 29 at that time when I took the call to start my own business. I was doing extremely well at Infosys. I was 2 levels down the head of HR. You don't get such opportunities. So people thought I was mad, literally mad, to throw that. You walk into a thing and the security guard salutes you. Right? So you're used to that kind of a thing, and suddenly you're walking with your presentation and you say, sir, will you please buy from me? So they thought I was mad. But now things have changed, especially after I represented my country on the US State Department thing, and when I met Hillary Clinton, and okay, thank you. I didn't know you guys are going to clap for that. It was, that moment really taught me a lot because one, I understood that all of us have problems. And two, I understood that if you're meeting Hillary Clinton and the press is going to write about it back in India, my parents will certainly be happy. So it made my life a little easier after that incident. I finished 6 years of running my company and things have been going well. There are working capital issues like any business. But what I have done very consciously, which I want to share with you, is I have not taken investor money. Right? I have never taken investor money. The best money you can have is your customers paying you. If you're going to take investor money, then you not only have to report to your customers, you also have to report to your investor. And then you're going to be spending time preparing presentations after presentations to the investor, rather than going out into the market. The other advice that I have for Linkstock is she said somebody helped her make the website. Have you guys heard about ESOP? What is an ESOP? Employee? What's an ESOP? An employee, stock, option, plan. Okay? So one word of advice I would give, if you are taking help from your friends, never ever base it on obligation. If you don't have money to pay today, give them some shares. If you had taken, for example, Wipro shares about 15 years ago, you would currently be sitting on a dividend of not less than 10 crores. Okay? Which is much, much higher than the salary you would have got. Okay? So what am I doing now? We've gone ahead. I'm an advisory board member of an organization called iCreate. We've trained more than 15,000 people, and this is basically rural based. And we've created close to 3,000 entrepreneurs. Okay? And from a job perspective, we've created close to about 12,000 jobs, right? So it's interesting to see, and I'm saying that the plans are going to come only from places like yours, because all of you are intelligent, you're smart, and you're not distracted by what we call the urban life. So what is entrepreneurship? It's all about a business plan, and I'm not going to get into that except the sales, right? That's important. Now, these are some of the questions that you should ask whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not. And as far as the age is concerned, you know, I remember Bill Gates talking about it when he said he felt he'd arrived in the world and he felt he's the most successful businessman in the world. And he met Warren Buffett. Any guesses when Warren Buffett started his business? Huh? Warren Buffett was 12 when he started? No. No, darling. When did Warren Buffett start? Oh, forget it. All of you know Boman Irani? Yes. Okay, so when did Boman Irani start his career? So while there is a lot of talk in his 40s, okay, he was 45 and Warren Buffett was close to about 50, 52. So there is really no age. But if you look at experience and if you look at strength, what we advise is the earlier you start, the better it is. While we say that it's important, think about it, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not, I have a slightly different opinion. My opinion is, go ahead and start your business. Worst come worst basis, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Huh? मतलब क्या होगा? What will happen? You're unemployed, right? So when you're unemployed, what can you go back to? You can go back to a job. So please do not be in this analysis paralysis. Should I be? Shouldn't I be? If you feel that you can be an entrepreneur, go ahead. Because the worst thing that can happen to you is you'll be an employee. Right? A quote that I remember is, if you do not have the confidence to live your dreams, what did I say? If you do not have the confidence to live your dreams, be rest assured you will be living somebody else's. Okay? So if you have the energy, if you have the will, go ahead. And if you have a lot of people who are going to give you advice on your company and you feel you have to put up with it, there is something called the advisory board. Okay? This is not the board where you actually pay the money. There's actually something called the advisory board. So a lot of students put their vice chancellors, put their professors on the advisory board, give them a tenure of 3 to 5 years. After that, you can always change. All right? Are you with me? Yes. Which business should I start? Any answers to that? Any answers to that? What is the field that you should start your business in?
The one that has a social relevance.
The one that has a social relevance.
The subject which I know perfectly.
The subject which I know perfectly. Good. The one in which I'm interested in. What else?
The one in which you can give your 100%.
The one in which I can give my 100%. What else?
Where there's market.
One that you can treat as your own baby. What else? That has to come from a lady, okay? You better be very nurturing. Huh? Marketing. So this is my theory around business, okay? Business is psychology at the end of the day, agreed? And most of the successful marketing campaigns, if you see right now, what do they do to the customer? And feel free to disagree, okay? I'm not here saying everything that's cast in stone. Things change. This is research. Most of the successful marketing campaigns, what do they do? If you think about psychology. So the first thing that they do is to make you look small. To make you feel inadequate. You're not perfect. Best example, Fair and Lovely. Oh, look at me, I am dark. Oh, I'm not getting a boyfriend. Oh, look at her. What are they doing to you? They're trying to make you feel small. And you actually feel small. You're like, oh my God. And then you go to your parents and say, why did you do this to me? Why couldn't you be fair? Right? And then when you're like really down there, then comes saying, buy Fair and Lovely. 20 rupees only. So what do? Buy. And then you put Fair and Lovely and then you go stand in the college campus like that. What happens? What happens? The guy still walks. And you're like, kya ho gaya? Then after a few months, what happens to the TV? Fair and Lovely, improved product. This is much better. We put coal, charcoal, oxygen, I don't know what all they put there. Okay? And then they say, now it's not 20, but it's 25. So what do you go and do?
Again buy it.
Okay, put that. Right? And then again you go and stand. And again what happens? Well, if one guy looks at you, then you're a customer of Fair and Lovely for life. You will never change. They have earned customer loyalty. Okay? But in case that doesn't happen, then what? Then your parents say, "Tera kuch nahi hone wala, aaja shaadi karwa de." Right? But marketing campaigns and, so why did I share all of this is to encourage you to think about your business as psychology. A human being, basically, my belief is a creature of comfort. BigBasket.com. Anybody heard about it? Started by Hari, one of my very good friends. Okay, he was in Manipal, employee, like same, maybe 10 years more than I was in the corporate world. What was the story behind Big Basket? He used to get fed up of his wife complaining all the time. So if I can sit at home, vegetables come, and the current goes off, right? At least the guy is going to be outside my door delivering so that I can go to my parlor, I can go to my kitty party, I can do whatever I want. So basically a human being is a creature of comfort, and as businesses, if your models are around increasing that comfort, right, you pretty much will get customers paying for you. Yes? Okay. Now the thing about social enterprise, now everybody who's an entrepreneur need not be Mahatma Gandhi. Why do I call Mahatma Gandhi an entrepreneur? Any idea? Come on guys. Was he an entrepreneur? Yes, no? How many of you say Mahatma Gandhi is an entrepreneur?
No.
So the rest of you are saying no. How many of you say Mahatma Gandhi is not an entrepreneur? Good morning. The rest of the guys, they want me to talk in Kannada, Hindi. How many of you think Mahatma Gandhi is an entrepreneur? And the lights came back. Okay, now you can see me also. So how many of you think Mahatma Gandhi was an entrepreneur? Or he had entrepreneurial skills? Bhaiya, thoda upar raise karo. Be proud of what you have to say. Some of them are like this. Okay, if she says no, then I'm still safe. Right? Okay, and how many of you think he's not? And the rest of the guys say, I don't know. That's the problem with India. Majority of us are silent, inactive, country is going where it's going. Okay? So if you study the psychology of the human being, because he was successful in creating a movement, so as to say, and if you analyze his background, he was from Gujarat. Okay? And he had a lot of characteristics very similar to how an entrepreneur would sell his or her dream. Alright? The next, how will my business earn revenue? Very important. Very important. Actually, what we try and say is create a prototype, get the customer to pay, then register your company. So the fact that you have not yet registered your company, I'm completely okay with it. Okay? I know Nanditi said go ahead and register. No, first get real money. get a lag, right? And when the customer says, I want to give money, can you create a bank account? Then you do it, right? Otherwise it's never going to stop. The other thing about mentoring, somebody asked, your professor will anyway encourage you to start, right? So is it good advice, bad advice? What was the advice given? Go to an external person. Maybe they will give you better advice. I have one thing better. You know what it is? Go and pay the mentor for the time. Once you put real money on the table and say, now give me advice, first of all you will say, मैं उसको पैसा क्यों दूँ? I'll talk to my friends, right? So all that I want to say is, once there is real money on the table, then we're talking. Otherwise, we can just keep talking. It's not going to make any difference, right? When will I reach my break-even? This is a good question for people who've invested a lot. They have a gestation period they want to earn back. My key lessons. What is the first point out there? Huh? Cash flows are important. What do we mean by that? What do I mean by that? So how do you take money from the customer? What are the two ways you can take from the customer?
Sell the product.
It's getting hot in here. Are you guys feeling hot?
Yeah.
I thought it's just me. Okay? Yeah, you can boo me, yeah, it's a college. You don't know how the IM folks are, huh? So, cash flows are important, which means to say, try as an entrepreneur to take the money from your customer as quickly as possible. What is the customer going to do to you? He is going to operate on the reverse psychology. He will say that I will, only if I become fair, I will pay for fair and lovely. What are you going to do now? You're paying it, right? And then taking it back, right? So from a business perspective, try to get money in advance. Because then what you're doing is, you're deploying customers' money into your business. Okay? Very important. Relationships are key. Always be in touch. Smile. Everybody please give me a smile. Your widest smile possible. Okay, now look to your neighbor. And now smile. Look to your neighbor. Bhaiya, look. Bhaiya and Behan only, okay? Nothing else. Okay, relationships are key because I'm still in touch with my college folks. Some of them have gone on to build great companies, some of them are working, some of them have started NGOs. We're living in a world of human beings, so relationships are absolute key. Okay? Winning the business game is all about retaining your clients. Anybody who started a business who's already got clients? Brilliant. Do everything to retain them, because the cost of acquiring a new customer is so much, many times more than the one who's already with you paying you money. Don't get distracted. Okay? Do it legally. Some of the customers will say, I'm going to pay you in cash. Happens? Yes? Why raise an invoice? I'll save you 15% service tax. Abhi 15% ho gaya hai. Why? Why is service tax 15%? You know, for an engineering college to be giving me answers, you guys are incredible. Very good. Okay? Kisan ka kuch aa gaya hai na, 0.5%. And now you know the latest joke. Because Vijay Mallya is defaulted, they're going to raise 0.5% more. Right? So do it legally. Okay, I have seen a lot of businesses getting distracted and saying, okay, abhi paisa aa raha hai, I'm saving on taxes. So their intention becomes, let me save taxes rather than earning more money. And after a period of time, you know, you are spending most of your time trying to save that 20 lakhs and letting go of a 2 crore opportunity. And all these experiences, time is everything, right? So if you look at even my career or the entrepreneurs that we've mentored, timing is everything. Okay, you need to have a lot of confidence, sure, but there's nothing called the right time. You make the time right for you, depending on the energy that you have. Okay, there will be a lot of conflict. People are not going to agree with you. Okay, you walk into a meeting and they say, okay, sure, I'm going to give you business. That's not going to happen. Right? But be at it. Be at it. One of the experiments that we conducted, which has been successful, is we set up something called JGI Ventures, and I wish Dr. Jain was here. That Ventures has, we incubated close to about 46 companies, and our ticket size was anywhere between, ticket size is the investment that we're able to make into the business, was anywhere between 15 lakhs to 2 crores. And we invested in about 46 companies, and the good news is 11 of them are doing exceedingly well. Okay, and in a period of say 10 years and 3 years of acceleration that we call it, together they were able to generate close to about 151 crores. Okay. So we're talking real money, we're talking real jobs, and if you interview the entrepreneurs, I think what they feel as a sense of satisfaction, of course money, it's money. If you're going to think profit is a bad word, please don't be an entrepreneur. Profit is a good word. And one of the other fundamental rules that I always ask students, or be it anybody, is how much is the margin you're going to make? Why is that important? How much money do you make out of a bank right now? You put FD na? Fixed deposits? Kitna मिलता है? Somebody saying 8 to 10%, 8%, 6%, 5%. Okay, so let's average it out at 6%. Okay? It depends. But if you average it out, 6%. If you're going to start a business which is going to give you less than 6%, does it make sense? You'd rather put that money in the bank and enjoy. Yeah? So what we're talking about is value, and we're talking about incremental value. Okay? The other mistake a lot of people are doing in Bangalore is like some 4 engineers get together, they make a business plan, and they say we want to exit. Exit has become the new cool. हाँ, दो साल चला लेंगे, उसके बाद किसी को बेच देंगे, पैसा लेके. That's not entrepreneurship. Okay, and the e-commerce bubble is going to burst. Okay, and you can remember me at that time, like the IT bubble. Okay, everybody out there wants to create an online portal thinking they can reach. The only advice I would have for her is, even though commendable effort, but if she adds analytics to it. Have you heard about analytics? Big data? What is big data? That chapter we've not yet reached. Sir is still not taught us. Huh? What is big data? And what is analytics? Yeah, what do we do with large amount of data? Very good. What's your name? Sachin. Very good, Sachin. Okay, now he is confusing me. I can't say I'm a common man. I'm a common woman. Okay, I don't understand cloud and all of that. Simple language mein explain karo. Please don't try and attempt it as a 10-mark question. Abhi, I have to fill up 1 page. We used to do that as students. I hope it's changed now. 10 marks to matlab 2 pages. 15 marks matlab 3 pages. 2 mark ke liye half is okay. You'll kind of get it. What is big data? What is analytics?
We infer something from the last data we have.
Yeah, so you infer something. So basically, what are you doing to the customer? Do all of you have Gmail accounts?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you get ads on the side?
Yes, ma'am.
Now that's an example of big data analytics. How? For example, I went to Europe last year, right? I just typed in saying Europe, tour packages and everything. The next time I log into Gmail, on my right hand side there are advertisements of tour operators. Okay, this is a classic example, which means to say if she places her product on LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn if I try to search for if there are any jobs available, I will immediately get link stock the next time I log in. What are you trying to do?
Advertising the
Exactly. So consumer behavior is a subject, right? Now you're trying to analyze that and predict what he wants. It's ease of that, right? I have a small movie to play, and this is from Intel. It's not mine. Any thoughts? India is still a very young country. You know what is the average age of our country? Huh? 20? 26. And what are the needs of a typical 26-year-old?
Money.
If you're able to answer that question, you're going to make a lot of money. Okay? You know the most profitable businesses right now for the young Indians? Can you take a guess what type of business it is? I'm giving you a hint. 25, 26 years old.
Marriage.
Exactly, marriage. Okay, and in that, have you noticed how there are layers? There's something called elite matrimony.
Yes, ma'am.
Usme bhi prestige. Huh? So, matrimonial websites are the most profitable. You have customers who stick with you, who want to pay because the horoscopes have to match, blah, blah, blah. And extremely profitable are marriage event planners. Why?
That's good.
People don't have time to manage a marriage. What else? Why is it, in India especially, this is a trend that we see, why is it most profitable? Huh? Marriages are always going to happen. Correct. Huh? What else? Sorry, who said that? What's your name? Preeti. Preeti. Okay, big round of applause. Teha, Preeti. Because in marriage, paisa nahi dekhte. It becomes a matter of prestige. Dulha Dulhan pehle, they used to go in a car, and that car used to have some rose petals here and there. So usme competition, मैं Benz में जाऊंगा, मैं Maruti car नहीं. And now, if you are among the fashionable in thing, you fly off in a helicopter. Okay? And typically, if you look at the customer profile, it is a prestige issue, and they will actually take loans also to conduct marriages. So if you're an event planner, you're taking away, a human being is a creature of comfort, right? So you go to him and you say, sir, I'm going to manage everything for you. Okay. Second, he does not want anybody talking ill about the marriage. Have you seen wedding cards right now? They're not cards anymore, they're boxes. And in Chandigarh, when I went, I got a wedding invitation. Usme main khola, there was alcohol. You know, small bottles. Uske bagel mein chocolates the. And I'm like, okay, I don't drink, I'm a teetotaler, sorry, I have a boring life. So immediately that box got taken away and I got another one which had macaroons and chocolates in it. Okay, and why are you doing this? Because Bansal ki shaadi mein unhone bas mithaiyan di thi. Hum ye de rahe hain. Who is making money out of this whole thing? Acha. And then if you look at the divorce rates of our country, what's happening? Okay, so now you don't have marriage matrimonial website, you have secondmarriage.com. Okay, so the same customer is going to come back, and because the first marriage failed, what are they going to do? Abhi hum aur bada karenge, aur dikhayenge, right? So that, I mean, my whole objective of telling you all of this is you need not have a great idea. You please don't think that if my idea can change the world, only then can I be an entrepreneur. Okay, you have to have ideas which are simple, which affects, like for example, she's opened a website on jobs. She had opened a website on marriage. All of you would have been her customers by now. And if she says, मैं आपका profiling करूँगी, I will match, because now the trend is not arranged marriages, but love marriages. No, we've still not reached there. Huh? From arranged marriages, where has it gone to? Self-arranged marriages. Which is, it's still arranged, but you can now decide. And she does that and she says, I'm going to profile you. You're fair and lovely, no problem. You're dusky, you're even more beautiful. You're like Bipasha Basu. She meets a boy and she says, you look like Hrithik Roshan. She gets a profile photographer to say, "Aapka hum photo shoot karenge." I'm that model, yeah. I like pose and this and that. She does matchmaking. That's how Facebook started, right? It started as a chatting thing, and now it's taken a new shape altogether. But please understand that for successful entrepreneurship, if you do not address the basic needs of an entrepreneur, there's little chances that you're going to succeed. Scientists are boring. Unlikely that you're going to get an investment. And in India, we're still a poor country. Okay, all of this AC, bottled water, you know how much percentage of the population can afford this? How big are we as a country? How many people? Huh? I know I'm standing between you and lunch, but थोड़ा जोर से बोलो. Billion में बोलो. कुछ और इतने हैं, right? And this offering that we have is close to about 6 to 8% of India can afford what we have. So if you look at India, we've actually arrived. Because bottled water is still a big problem. Okay, we're still a poor country. So if you're going to sit and try to solve a problem of a rich man or some esoteric science, it's unlikely. So the trend of entrepreneurship is going to be more service oriented. Hospitality, marriages, clothes, image consultants. How many of you want to be image consultants? उसमें बहुत पैसा है. Why? Because I basically have to make you say your hair is not good, your this thing is not good, your okay, please make me good. Come, pay me 25,000 rupees. Okay, so image consulting is working. Right? So service-based is going to see more and more businesses, and in that way it's a fantastic opportunity for all of you because the ticket size is not very high. You can start all of this with absolutely no money, or you can start all of this better with customers' money first. Okay? On top of this, because there are computer science students here, if you put in analytics to it, you guys are going to create something new to the whole world. Okay? Destination weddings. I don't know why I'm talking about marriages. Maybe it's just you guys and what I'm seeing in front of me. Right? The other thing is, you know, there was this another quote that I read which says that I was born intelligent, but education spoilt me. And that's very true for entrepreneurship. Because you have to look at the basic human behavior. If you're going to get lost in theory, then your revenue is also going to be theoretical. Then you have to tell your employees, salary दूंगा 6 महीने के बाद. Theoretical, right? So entrepreneurship is as real as it gets. So if you're going to spend time in the classroom and you want to be an entrepreneur, please ensure you spend equal or more time outside. Test and test and test your idea. Okay? The other thing is, please do not do it alone. We have seen that trend. A lot of them want to do it on their own. This is my idea. We have seen from a research perspective, if 6 or 8 of you come together, the chances of succeeding in your startup is higher. Alright? There is a book by Richard Branson. Everybody knows Richard Branson? What does he do? Huh? Virgin Group. Some of them are already giggling. I don't understand. Okay. So Richard Branson, there was a book that he wrote, which is called Screw It, Just Do It. How many of you have read it? Okay, that's a fantastic book because we can spend time, money, effort in lectures and more lectures, but real money is out there. Okay? Not in here unless there is somebody who starts a matrimonial website. Okay? The last bit that I would like to kind of end with, and I have question time, is absolutely love yourself. You have to love yourself. Okay? Because if you don't like yourself, and if you don't love what you're doing, why should the customer pay you? Let's go back to Fair and Lovely. Please buy Fair and Lovely. May work, may not work, right? No, you have to love yourself. And a lot of us are comfortable getting negative feedback. Okay, but if I ask you to stand up and praise yourself for 5 minutes, you won't do that. The first thing you will do is you will start giggling. Right? So, an entrepreneur is a person who has traces of narcissism. I know it's a very strong word, but you absolutely have to love yourself. You have to stand up, stand in front of the mirror and say, even if I become a laughing stock, I'm still okay. Right? If you're going to benchmark your motivation on what others are doing, very unlikely you're going to make money. Okay? So, can all of you repeat after me? Yes? Okay. Yes?
Yes.
Repeat after me? Louder? Okay, fantastic. So, just let's say this, okay? I'm special. Louder. Louder. I'm the best. Thank you. He said that louder. Okay, I'm special. I'm the best. I will love myself. Yes? Fantastic. Okay, that's the... I love you guys. I just love you guys. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we do know that I'm standing between you and what's ahead of the program. So if you have any questions about me, coming onto the book, there's also a book called Undeterred. I would encourage you to buy it. It's an interview of about 340 odd women leaders, and you know, a lot of research that we have right now is Western oriented. I mean, Jack did this, Andy did that. Where is Mahalingam and where is Swami? Right? So this is being researched on emerging economies, and I have been featured in that. And thank you. It was. I think it all happened after the Hillary Clinton thing. But why I'm encouraging you to do that is not because I've been featured, but it'll give you very different views, because it dwells only on the emerging economies, not the developed world. And we are a different animal with regards to them. Okay? So now with a big smile, I mean, next time you meet me, now, smile, and thank you for having me here. Love your hospitality. And any questions, of course, considering the time limitation, we'll be happy to take. All right? So now you can clap.